issues, I think during the 50s times, Hercules was definitely a trickster and a rogue and a shapeshifter. And when he was wandering around the DC universe fighting Superman and other people, there too he was not really a good guy, not really a bad guy, but he was not a good guy and not a bad guy. He was just his own type of person. So DC seems a lot more fluid in how they portray him, whereas in Marvel, even though sometimes he does messed up things, he's not really a villain.
Yeah.
Did you say Hercules fought Superman?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, many times.
Lois Lane fell
This
in
guy
love
right here.
Yeah, Lois Lane fell in love with Hercules too. In some DC things, Superman was Hercules and performed some of the labors. There's a lot of different stories about Superman and Hercules.
And
he's like our modern day Hercules, if you think about it.
He is.
Like, yeah.
I mean, was it a stalemate with Hercules fighting Superman?
No, I think Superman would usually win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I remember too.
Yeah. But then Zeus would come along and kick Superman's ass because it's Zeus.
And when Thor fought Hercules, who
they would usually, that was a little bit closer because that's the Marvel version.
Right.
And it's interesting so here's the thing, for DC, I feel like Hercules was more of a background character to build up the Wonder Woman mythos, because a lot of her origin, like Themyscira and the Amazonians, is very steeped in Greek mythology.
Yes.
So they're going to have a lot of Greek characters in those Wonder Woman background stories, right? Kind of like how Batman's got all those Gotham, in Gotham City, he's got all his whole pantheon of villains. Not to say that Hercules is necessarily a villain in DC, but I feel like he's a foil to Wonder Woman, almost, in a lot of stories. Whereas...
Yeah, even when he was champion and he wound up dating Wonder Woman for a brief period of time, he was more foiled than a bad guy. He was pretending to be a good guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a villain, I'd say more of a foil.
Yeah. That's more accurate.
Whereas with Hercules and Thor, I feel like it's more of like, they're kind of like buddies, but sometimes rivals. But a lot of times they're buddies, I think the way they showed him in that recent Love and Thunder movie, when they finally did show Hercules in that, like, he was kind of like a comic relief, but he was always like Thor's. And they showed the Hercules in the What If series, right, where he was like a buddy of Thor, like an old pal, when Thor would throw a party behind his parents' back. Or, Hercules would show up with the beers.
I must have missed that. Was it in the third season, or...?
It was the one where Thor does the party. I believe, like, Hercules shows up. Like Loki shows up. Like, everybody shows up, right?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, but I think that's a lot of it, right? Like, yeah, they have fights, right? Hercules does fight Thor, obviously, because they're both gods. But, I don't know, it's kind of like a good buddies, bitter rivals kind of relationship. Whereas he's not necessarily like a foil for Thor like he is for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, they're frenemies.
Frenemies. That's the word I'm using.
Sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're foes, sometimes they're in between. Their first meeting was, they had this epic battle over who goes over a log that's blocking a stream first. And they have this epic battle, and then Zeus has to intervene and kneel to Zeus, and Thor goes back to the Asgardian realms, and he decides not to tell Loki about Olympus because he's concerned with what Loki would do if he knew the secret to where the Greek gods were.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I used to love the Three Stooges, and the Three Stooges in 1962 actually met Hercules.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just posted on that yesterday in my Sword and Sandal cinema group. I put the pictures from that.
Yeah, the Three Stooges, they meet everybody. They even met Scooby-Doo.
Hercules is not a good guy there either, but he becomes a good guy. By the end of the film, somebody else started building that heroic reputation, so Hercules assumes it and carries it on into the future.
And not only that, Hercules is a world traveler. Hercules against the barbarians in 1964. Hercules was going against the Mongols.
Well, those movies were how things were in antique times. Like we were talking about Samson earlier before we started the show.
Yeah.
The name of the hero was different from place to place. So he could have been Samson for the Hebrews. He was Hercules for the Greeks. He was Hercule, for the Etruscans. He was Ecole for the Romans. He was Melkart for the Phoenicians. He was, Thor or Donar or Funar for the people up north. He was all these different names, but the stories were very similar, sometimes even the same.
Do you think there's a strong argument to be made that Hercules and Thor are in fact the same individual?
Well, the hammer of Thor evolved from the club of Hercules. They've shown that. They've shown how the club of Hercules over time in the north evolved into the hammer of Thor. They've shown the amulets over.
You mean as like a symbol for him? Okay.
Yeah, so the symbol's tied over there. And the Peplum films, Sword and Sandal films, depending on what country they were shown in, the hero could be Hercules, it could be Ursus, it could be Machiste, it could be Atlas, depending on whatever was popular there, that's what the hero's name would be. So just because we saw a movie that says Hercules and the Barbarians doesn't mean that that was Hercules elsewhere in the world. It could have been Samson and the Barbarians. All of those films have different titles.
And Hercules, you're totally correct on that. Because Revenge of Hercules, which was put out in 1960, was also known as Goliath and the Dragon, and it was not a Hercules film.
Except for where it was.
Yeah.
There was something else somewhere else, and I have a whole bookshelf on those type of things too. Those movies and the posters and how they were sold and marketed and so forth. So I believe the same thing happened in antiquity, where these heroes were cut of the same cloth, and they were acculturated to the people listening to the stories to make them more appealing. So sometimes because the tales are so similar, they had to have heard them from each other. It's not that big an area. If you look at the whole Near East and the Mediterranean, and there was a lot of commerce going back and forth, and an exchange of ideas. So these stories were told by professional storytellers who borrowed heavily. Some scholars even believe that Gilgamesh was an earlier variant of the Hercules myth.
Oh my God! And it seems like the movie producers would just throw in the name Hercules just to get an audience. Like Hercules and the Treasure of the Incas was also known as Lost Treasure of the Aztecs, and it was not a Hercules film. So that's really amazing.
It's like he's the world's first superhero.
Yeah.
There's a couple of books. One of them is a children's book that's called Hercules, the world's first superhero, and then there's a scholarly book that has the same title, Hercules, the first superhero. I just posted that like a week ago, too, on my Sword and Sandal Cinema site.
Did you like Dwayne Johnson as Hercules?
I did.
Do you like Kevin Sorbo as Hercules?
I like Kevin Sorbo's Hercules, but I don't currently like Kevin Sorbo. Some of his ideas that he has that he spreads. Okay. So I don't agree with him there, but I liked his Hercules.
And did Arnold Schwarzenegger ever play Hercules?
Hercules in New York.
Hercules in New York also.
Yep.
Hercules Goes Bananas.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And in one of them he was dubbed, and the other one he wasn't dubbed, and he went by Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other one Arnold Strong.
Then that means I actually met Hercules then. Because I met Arnold Schwarzenegger on the filming of True Lies at the Mayfair Hotel in Los Angeles. And then later on, I was working as Secretary of State, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was the governor of California, loved using our conference room. So I met him 3 times as Secretary of State and shook his hand.
Awesome. I never met him. I've met people who knew him, I met people who worked out with him or who knew him when he first came to New York, and I never met him. How about you? Have you met?
Actually, I did meet him once at a of all the places I met him at an airport in South Korea.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I literally turned a corner and he was there, like coming out of his TV.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I was like, hey Arnold, love your movie. He shook his hand. I think he was surprised I spoke English because this was Korea, so he didn't expect anyone to speak English. But yeah, I remember meeting him.
Did he
I was shocked.
Did he say Yobo Seo?
No, I mean he was just. I think he was there promoting. He was there with a bunch of people. I think they were like his family and his little entourage. I think he was there promoting a movie. This was 2015. I forgot which movie he was promoting though.
It wasn't Incheon.
No, it was Incheon Airport. That was like the main international airport going out of South
Because
Korea.
I was an extra in Incheon when I was in South Korea in the Army. Yeah, I got to be an extra in Incheon. And then
Nice.
I was an extra in a couple other Korean movies. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. A whole new dimension to you. We have to talk to you like that one day.
Oh my God. Yep.
Has Hulk Hogan ever played Hercules? I want to feel like I feel like he has.
He played Zeus.
Did he play Zeus?
Yeah, he played Zeus. There was I forget what the movie was called, but it was the young Hercules. There was a kid who had muscles, and he was called Young Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
He was Hercules, and he was like a kid, and he wound up in our world going to school. But Hulk Hogan played Zeus in the movie.
Oh.
And Hulk Hogan had a TV show. I forget what it was called, but it lasted for a few seasons with his family. In one of the seasons, they dealt with the making of that Hercules movie.
That's interesting.
I never even heard of that. I gotta look that one up.
He made a better Zeus than I thought he did.
I know he beat up Rocky.
Yes, in the Rocky movie.
Now there was a young Hercules series in
That was something
the 90s.
else. Yeah, that was another series. That was with that was an offshoot of Hercules' Legendary Journeys with Kevin Sorbo.
Yes. And guess who played young Hercules? Do you know who it was?
No.
Yeah.
Who?
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
Oh
he was
my
the second
God.
play. Somebody else played it before him. Boland, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Ryan Gosling.
Hercules, do you get a lot of people to just say that you look like Hercules?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, even my sister, she went somewhere and there were statues and she goes, one of them looked exactly like me.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I'm indirectly descended from him. I'm part Dorian, and the Dorians were the sons of Hercules. And also, I'm a Lemnian. Lemnos is the island where the Argonauts landed, with all the warrior women were the Amazons.
Oh, okay.
So I'm descendant of Argonauts and Amazons, according to the mythology.
So you have Hercules DNA.
So the story goes.
No, that's cool.
But if not, I was inspired and seek to embody as much as I can of my favorite hero. The better parts of it, not the bad parts.
Yeah, not the bad parts. Yeah.
If Marvel makes another Avenger movie, which they should be making.
Yeah, they're making two.
Okay, you think Hercules will be in it?
Well, he was in Love and Thunder, and
Briefly.
Zeus.
I think if they make another Thor movie, I think he's more likely to show up in that.
They were supposed to make a mini-series on Disney Plus, but they didn't do that. And some people were saying that Thor 5 was going to be set in the heavens, and it's going to recruit people from Valhalla and other places. And said they were saying that Hercules and Thor would be fighting and become friends by the end of the movie. But again, these are people's opinions and speculation, rumors. So I'll believe it when I see it.
What's your most favorite Hercules movie?
my favorite, there's so many of them that are my favorites. I like the one where he fights the Moon Men.
Oh, the
Hercules
Moon
versus the
Man.
Moon Man.
Yes.
Moon Men. It's like science fiction, and he made a couple of Atlantis. They made a couple of Atlantis movies, and Sorbo had on his TV show. He went to Atlantis too. The Atlantis ones were very science fiction-y also, so I like those as well.
That was an Italian movie, the Hercules against the Moon Men.
Yes. And
Oh.
Alan Steele, or Sergio Chiani, which is his real name, he plays Hercules. And he's the one that said is my favorite because of his exuberance at playing the role. He's not the biggest, but he's the most exuberant. Steve Reeves Steve Reeves made the cookie cutter mold, and everybody kind of copied Steve Reeves. But I find Steve Reeves very wooden in his portrayal of Hercules. And Reg Park was huge. He looked the part. He looked like a god, in human flesh. But he played it like too lightly. It's like I'm the mightiest person in the world. I don't give a fuck, And he had that like light attitude. Every now and then he complained to the gods, but mostly it was just walked his way through the movies.
And I'd say probably the biggest person to play Hercules was Lou Ferrigno.
Yes.
Yeah, he was huge in that movie, I remember.
Yeah, I like those movies too. I like those movies, but I like the mixing of science fiction and mythology.
Like, Arnold was huge, especially if you watch this Hercules in New York movie or whatever. That was probably the biggest Arnold has ever looked in any of his films. But at the same time, like, Arnold is not particularly tall. Like, when I met him, I was like, I was actually surprised. He's only like, what?
Yeah, he's
6 foot?
Yeah, he's
not.
He's a short guy.
Yeah, he's not that. I mean, he's not short, but he's not like,
short.
He's not towering, right? I remember the first thing I thought when I saw Arnold at that airport. I was like, oh, he's the same height as my dad. My dad's like